welcome to the studio. So I found a picture of this little street scene I thought was kind of nice. Got a few people sitting on a bench, a nice lantern here, and a nice alleyway. Kind of resolves into some lightness back here. I thought we'd give this a try. We're going to have to simplify this a little bit. And I thought I would try to draw this on camera and see how that goes. So let's just see what we've got here. All right, I'm going to do this. Let's see. This is going to be my initial roof line here, I think. This is going to go out about halfway. And our sidewalk, our sidewalk goes something like that. There's one building already mostly done. That's going to go out and comes in. Let's see. Sidewalk continues down. Yep, the front of those two, just the same. Maybe we'll put in these big round windows like that on that shop. Let's see, we've got a bit of a roof line on this one. Somewhere back here we've got a roof line that goes over there. There's a big building right there. Let's see. Trying to see what we've got. A little bit of a sidewalk that comes up here. A doorway about that size. I think that's better. Well, it's a little bit smaller than those. Something like that. A couple of windows up here. We've got a little sign that hangs out. I think I'm going to do it like this. Make a sign that hangs down. I like that a little bit better. Let's see if we can get rid of a little bit of this area back there. And maybe where I didn't draw that quite as nicely as possible. Let's see. This was supposed to be the top of that building. Our windows already have to go down a little bit. Got a bit of a dormer on there. I don't know that I want to put that dormer on there. And I don't want to put a roof on. I don't want to put this roof on. I don't think we need that. We don't need that. This area is already pretty congested. We'll put another door here. I don't want to do too much in that area. I did change our sign here a little bit. Well, the one thing I do want to do, or two things I guess I do want to do. One is I want to put our bench on here. Something like that's how our bench goes. So you can see a foot and a foot. There we go. There's simple bench, and I know we've got a couple of people sitting on it. There's one. Maybe we'll just make it two people sitting on the bench. There's a foot down there. And we've got a nice lamp post that comes up here. Oh, something like that. A nice cross. Same thing on the sides. Maybe not quite as big. Something very simple. Don't need a lot of detail at this point. We are probably, however, going to need to know where our door is. There's a door here, let's say. A window here. Well, we've got let's just put a window. We're going to simplify it a little bit. Let's put windows up on the second story, and we'll put another door right here. This one has maybe an eave over top of it also. There we go. Simple as that. There's our quick drawing, a little bit simplified, of the painting that we are going to do. Here it is. And let's go ahead and get started with it. I'm going to use my Meeden watercolor tin. It's got my Holbein paints in it. I'll leave that off to the side here. Today I'm going to use, I don't know what these are. These are Transom art brushes. Some I found online. These are squirrel hair mop brushes. They hold a ton, I promise you, a ton of water. These things hold. This is Arch's cold press paper. Oops, and with that I think we've got everything we need to get behind us. Oh, I don't know why I'm mixing up there. Let me mix down here. I'm going to put in a simple sky up here. I'm going to try to go around a few things. There we go, and I'm hoping I can keep a nice kind of a wet edge here as we go along. Oh, we're just going to mix up a really light brown color for our roof. It's turned a little gray. Put a little bit more brown in there. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we don't have to be too concerned about this. It's the colors are going to mix and they're going to run just a little bit, and I'm pretty okay with that. I've learned to become pretty okay with that. Whoops, I want yellow. A really light orange. I'm mixing up while I'm talking. Learned to be mostly okay with that. It's a little hard, I will admit, not necessarily the easiest thing to get used to, but we're going to be putting on a second coat onto this painting, so no need to worry too much about what happens on the first coat. We just want to get our color on the paper and let it mix around and do some things that it wants to do. Let's see, we've got another roof here. Let me just vary that color a little bit. It's going to be probably more gray, our final painting, but I'm going to put a little bit on there, and I love that it's got this nice yellow. Let me use a little permanent lemon back here. Love that it's got this nice yellow house back in the back to really warm it up and bring your eye right over there. It gives a nice center of interest. I don't know what color to make this sign. I'm thinking about that. I think maybe I'm going to take a cue from here and make it similar to the color of the shop that it's hanging on. Let me try that. There's our sign. That's somewhat round. And our building here is a little bit blue. I don't know, not sure why I want to mix up there. Our building here is a little bit blue. Going to give it a mix between our cerulean and our ultramarine. There we go. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to give the whole thing that same color. I got a little yellow in there. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to... Boy, I thought this was cold pressed paper. This feels much more like rough paper. It's got quite a texture on it. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this to see what it really is. I'm just gonna take out some of that white spots, and then we've got our gray road down here. I don't want to make it too super gray. I'm gonna mix in a little bit of, I don't know, Prussian blue, cobalt blue. Oh, I've got a hair coming out of my brush. Back here, that's gonna reflect that color a little bit. And as I bring this closer to me, I'm gonna mix a little bit of red in it. That might be a little too much red. It'll be fine. And brown that down a little bit. There we go. And I've got a sidewalk over here that can get a little bit of color in it. Like I said, I'm just trying to get the color on here real quickly. I promise you that as we go through and do this, things will come together. You'll see what we're doing. I'll just go right over top of that. I'll keep it nice and warm. A little purple. Oh, a little bit more. Come on, we're almost there. There we go. I actually think that's really good. That's a good place to take a little break. Actually, that's not a good place to take a break. Let me do this. I'm just going to put in a little bit of color on our bench. There we go. Now it's a great place to take a break. Let me let this dry, and I will be right back. Okay, welcome back. Thoroughly dried my page with a hair dryer, and now we get to have some fun and start putting in some details. Let's take a look at what we need to do here. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start in the back, and mostly on the left-hand side, whatever side that is. And I'm going to drop in my roof back here real quickly. I'm going to hope this is going to dry up and not bother our other colors that we're going to put in here. There we go. And that roof probably extends on that side. You know what, while we're doing roofs, let's do this other roof here. I'm going to make this roof, it's closer to us, and it's not touching this, so we're not going to worry about this. We're going to make this bolder, much bolder. Let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to somewhat stay out of the inside of these lamps. I want that to shine through. But the tops of them we can go right on over. We'll come back and we'll put those on in a second, but I want the glass in these lamps to be just a bit cleaner. Are we pretty good with our roof line there? I think that's okay. And while I'm waiting for that to dry now, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make a nice bold. I want this to be nice and bold right up towards us. I'm going to use a mix of vermilion and rose madder. I'm going to start at the top up here and just put on a really a bold, bright color. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm going to bring that down, and as I bring that down a little bit, I'm going to let this purple out just a little bit. Not completely, but just a bit. As this building gets closer to the ground down here, it changes color a little bit. I know you don't see it necessarily here, although you do somewhat. This is much lighter up here. This is much darker down there. I'm going to represent that with a little bit of blue in the the paint there. There we go. And that's going to be, if to me this is really close, so that color's got to be really bright. We might even have to go back over and do that a third time. So what I want to do now is, I don't know, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and mix up a blue here that we can use. Mix of cerulean and ultramarine. I should say I stepped down a size. I stepped down 2. I was using a 6 brush before. I want to have a little bit more control on it. I don't want complete control. So I've stepped down to a number 4 brush here for right now. Let's see. I'm gonna go here like this. And I'm going to mix in some Prussian blue. So I go down on this one. Maybe a little bit of that black. Really darken this up. Lost a bristle on this one too. That's a little funny. There we go. That's that little bit on the end there, on the corner. This little bit represented by that. We're gonna come back and we're gonna do the arched doorways there in just a second. We're gonna hit the roof line of that too. Now I don't want to do anything with our yellow house in the background there. I like how that is getting nice and yellow, nice and orange in there. I'm going to leave that be. What am I going to do? I'm going to come up and I'm going to start up here on our house here. And again, I'm going around our lamp posts. We don't have to go around the lamp post. I don't want. I want those to be nice and the glass that's in those to be nice and crisp and nice and dark. And so I'm just going around them a little bit as this comes down towards the ground. I'm going to mix in some of my darker colors, maybe even a little bit of this gray, brown that we have for our pavement. There we go. But I don't want to get too far away from the blue there. Just mix that in. I also don't want to paint on that guy's head any more than I already have. Same thing with that guy. There we go. And with any luck at all, when we come back, and look at this, we'll have dried just enough. We'll be able to see where our windows are. If we can't, we're not going to worry about that. We'll figure it out. I'm going to rinse my brush a little bit, and I'm going to come in with a little bit of this black, I'm going to put a little purple in there. I'm going to do a little bit of our, what's this thing, lamp post. And it's all kind of the same color. I'm just going to draw in this square. I'm going to leave it just like that. Here it is. I've just got the base for it. You can see it right there. I'm going to leave the rest until I can draw the post itself. Let me give a little bit of extra color onto our bench. Just, there we go. That's all I want. I've got some black that's going to need to go in there. We're going to save that for just a second. I think what we can do, let's get a nice pop of yellow on our sign while we're waiting for things to dry up a little bit. I know I said I was going to do orange, but maybe we'll see how the yellow looks If it's not working well, we can always paint orange over top of it. Orange being a little bit darker, color should go over without any real issue. You know what I am going to do while we're waiting? I can do this pretty easily. I'm going to take our color that we have down here, the purple and black, blue, all of these together. I'm going to go ahead and draw in a few things here. Whoa, I got a big... There we go. That can go on, no problem. I'm going to mix up a little bit of ochre. What do we got going back here? A little bit of our yellow back here. I'm going to draw in a few lines back here. Our window is back there. We can get a little bit darker with that. And our doorway. I switched to a rigger brush to paint my metalwork. I don't know why I didn't switch back. I could just as easily as anything. I'm going to just add a couple of extra lines back here. No particular reason. They're just going to add a little bit of detail to the whole thing. Let me go back to my quill brush here, and I'm going to mix up. Oh, I need to make that different. I need to make the roof of this one different than the roof of the other ones. I don't need to make it too much different, I guess. Let's see. My roof line for this one. There we go. That's all I need to do. I'm going to switch to an even smaller one of these. This is a number 2, and while I'm waiting, I'm going to paint. While I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to give this guy a jacket here. It's going to be a nice big shot of color. He's going to get red. Oh, it bled. Thought it was going to stay. It's all right. We can do that. That guy gets red. The guy next to him, she's going to get, I don't know, what do we want to give him? Let's give him cobalt blue. I like to paint the people with nice, bright, vivid colors. Really, really bright, really stand out. I don't know why. Your eye just pops right on them. Sometimes that could be good, sometimes that can be bad, but I like seeing that you could just look right at them and you go, boom, there's somebody sitting right there. All right, while I'm waiting for that, this is pretty dry here. We don't need to wait for this. We can draw a few lines in our street here. All right, maybe there's some lines, some cobble in here. We've got, I put in a, let's see, this is kind of sidewalk over here. There we go, and there's kind of a sidewalk in front of that place. Let me draw something like that in. Oh, you know what else I can do while I'm waiting? Let me get my rigger back. This would help things a lot. Can draw in our ironwork for our bench. There's the supports on the back of it. Now we know that they're sitting on a bench. That looks so much better right there. Maybe the indication of a slat of wood. There we go. Now it's still a little bit wet. I can't do too much more quite yet. Just wait. I'm waiting for this big spot to dry up here. We can come up here. We can put in, let's see. Let's see how we can do this. we ought to be able to put in our lanterns. And this is just mostly just straight black. There's that one, there's that one. I know the top to these is out there somewhere. There we go. Not quite dry enough to paint inside that blue quite yet, but now you can see why I wanted to leave the white of those lanterns, so you can just see it looks like it's milky white right there, ready to go. I'm going to paint just a bit of a shadow underneath. I want this. You know what, I can't do it yet. I was going to paint just a touch of a shadow right on there, but I can't do it quite yet because I can see that that's just a tiny bit too wet. It will totally, it'll totally blotch up if I touch it now. Let me put you on pause one more second, dry this off. I will be right back. Okay, I think that's dry enough. We're back. That didn't take too long. Let's see. What did I say I was going to do? I don't know. I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to, let me see, I'm going to use Prussian blue and a little bit of black. Warm that just a little bit with a bit of burnt umber. I'm just off the scene. You can't quite see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to start, I'm going to try and find them to put in our arches. Those come down. There we go, and I'm going to use that same for a couple of our windows that are up here. And we have a doorway somewhere around here. And I'm pretty sure we've got one here. Boy, I drew those, I thought, fairly dark, and we still almost can't see them. And I know that we've got, I'm going to do it with ultramarine. It should stand out just enough. Got just a bit of a, there we go. Just a bit of an awning over top of that. What do we need to do? We need some faces on our people. Give a little bit of color there. Oh, not quite. They don't need to be ochre. There we go. A little bit of color on them. We need blue jeans on this guy. Might help if you had feet too. Let's give him a shoe. How about this guy? He can use a foot down there, I think. I want to darken this up just a little bit. And the other thing I want to do is I want to start adding a few, oh no, before I do that, I've got to add my ironwork back. There we go, and this post runs right down there. You could do this with any brush you really wanted to. I am using the rigger. It's just easy to make some straight lines with. I'm going to go on the side of this building, just like we did on the other building, just throwing in some accent lines here and there. These might seem a little funny to put on here, but believe me, if these are on here, it makes everything look a lot better. It brings a lot of cohesion to it, even though they just seem like a couple of lines here and there, like they wouldn't really do a whole lot. But subliminally, it helps to fill in a lot of the rest of the painting for your brain. I don't know why it does it. I just know that it does it. Here we go. We need to put a little bit of a shadow underneath these guys. I've been trying to make my shadows a little bit warmer. I don't know why. I always used to think shadows were blue. You got to use ultramarine for your shadow. You can't use anything else. Shadows are cold. Shadows are cold. And the more I've painted shadows, the more kind of I've thought, why are the shadows always blue? Why can't they be another color? Why can't they be a warmer color? You know, these can still be, it doesn't have to be gray, it doesn't have to be blue, but it can be something other than just the ultramarine blue that you put on there. And I think once I started putting on a little bit warmer shadows on things, I think my paintings got a little bit better. All right, I'm going to put a few lines on my roof here. A few here. I got a bit dark. Got a bit dark on this one. Just a few lines here and there. Maybe I'll water it way down. Get a couple on our roof back there too. And with that, I think we're looking pretty good with this. Could add a few more. Well, that's too intense. Get add a few more things here and there. A few little markings, but I think for the most part we're now done with this painting anymore, and I'm just playing, which I do like to do. A lot of doodling. Oh, I got hair. I need to put hair. Oh, so I'm glad I didn't stop the video quite yet. I've got hair to put on these guys. Okay, so back to my rigger. They don't know it, but they're both going to get black hair. There's one. Whoop. Well, he got it dipped into purple. He's got some purple hair. And there's the other hair. All right, I'm going to leave it like that. I think it turned out real nice. I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm mostly going to leave it like this. There just needs to be something. Oh, I forgot to put a window in right in the middle. I've got such a big spot here. Could have put something else right there. But a few little lines, that'll help us out. There it is. There's our painting. I hope you enjoyed painting with me. I had a great time painting with you. Here's what we started with. I tried to simplify some things, take some elements out, make it a lot nicer, a lot different. That's what we ended with. Thanks for stopping by the studio. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.